Biomutant is out this week, and I know a lot of people are really interested in the game. I was lucky enough to play it, so I thought I'd do my very best to let you know if it's worth giving a go. Yes, I've actually completed the game as well, so this isn't a half-assed review in any shape or form. I'm going to do my very best to give you my thoughts and feelings on the game. I want to start by saying Biomutant is the perfect palate cleanser for what's been a kind of stressful month for gamers in general. Whether you've been going in endless loops on Returnal or battling the PTSD created from Resident Evil Village, you will be looking for a game that kind of takes your mind off of all of that. And I feel like Biomutant is the perfect balance between open world RPG and quirky fun. The game itself is very colourful, there's an array of beauty hidden in the game, and while it doesn't look next gen, it still works pretty well for what it's trying to create. It's not cartoony per se, but it does have the right balance that you need to be running about as a weird little post-apocalyptic mammal that does Kung Fu, or as they like to call it in the game, Wong Fu. Now, the game offers a whole host of customizable features, from the character creation itself to the type of class of mutant that you're going to be building, because yes, there's a whole array of special powers that you can use. You can also delve into being a more melee-based fighter or ranged using guns, as well as your overall powers. I personally went for a sort of ranged build, but that didn't take away from the fact that I was using a lot of melee attacks as well. I tried to do my best to do a balanced build that pushed towards the powers of being an Omega Mutant, because I really wanted to get my Jean Grey on, and it worked pretty well for me. The combat itself can be clunky at times, I'm not going to lie to you, but one thing I did really enjoy about it and feel at home with is the fact that it's quite similar to most From Software games, at least in the layout. You've got your parry on the L1, you've got your dodge on circle, you've got your attack on square. All of these things feel pretty close to home for me, so I wasn't mad at getting into the combat, but it is kind of hard sometimes to put together successful combos, and the biggest reason for this isn't just the fact that the animations don't always move into each other. For instance, if I'm midway through a jump, it doesn't register the dodge easily, so you may end up getting caught out in certain situations, as I found myself. My biggest problem is the fact that it suffers from what I'd like to call Ghost of Tsushima syndrome. In Ghost of Tsushima, the combat was so fluid and perfect, but there was one massive thing that many players didn't get their head around easily and found frustrating, and that was the fact that you don't have a lock on. You know, you've got your melee stuff, you've got your long range stuff, you've got your dodges, you've got your jumps, you've got a whole array of good combat skills. But what you don't have is the ability to keep your camera centered or focus on who you're going to be shooting at or targeting. It has an auto lock-on feature, but that can very much change. Say if you're focused on an enemy in the back who's like the biggest and you want to take him down the most, sometimes if the little guys get in the way, your gun's automatically going to track onto those, making it difficult to really focus in on who you want to attack. A lock-on would be a simple implementation that would really make the combat thrive, because look, I was doing some awesome combos, but at the same time there'd be parts where my camera's in a bush and I'm not really swinging my thumb over on the right thumbstick because I'm in the middle of dodging and using the buttons. So I would really like to see that change, because I think the game needs to show off the combat that it has going. There are some really cool animations, and yes, you can combo into a fair amount of awesome attacks, but like I said, sometimes you will suffer from a lack of awareness due to that camera and also getting caught in the animation. You can't go directly from the jump into the parry perfectly, you can't go from the jump into the dodge perfectly, and all of these things need to string together, especially when you're surrounded by multiple enemies. That being said, I still had a lot of really good fun moments with the combat. Now, the story structure for an open world, while it does push towards exploration, it's pretty much straightforward, and for most people that can be quite fun. Sure, you can go on the ultimate exploration run, which will make it easier along the way because you'll unlock fast travel options and things like that, or you can let the story take you across the map because it focuses in all areas: the north, the south, the east and the west. There's a major boss, or known as world eaters, in this world that you need to take down, 4 of them to be precise, and that will take you across the map. However, the thing that I didn't enjoy about the story quest layout is the fact that it's so straightforward. You go to one place, you find out that there's a world eater that needs destroying, you link up with an NPC that will give you a set of requirements. It's usually about 3 quests, and it will be like, go here and grab this thing, go there and grab this thing, and go and grab some ammunition, all of such which will be used to put towards the special monster weapon destroyer, whatever you want to call it. It varies throughout all of it, and I don't really want to ruin it for you, but it will be things like, oh, we have this mech to take down this world eater, however, it's not completely operational. I can't leave my base, you need to go and gather all the things for me, which is fine, and I think that's a key part of most RPGs in general. You're always the hero that's being asked, hey, you there, I know you're meant to save the world, but can you go pick me up some nuts and bolts? It's a standard approach to RPGs, but the thing about it is, when you do that 4 times over exactly the same way just to get to the boss fight, it can become quite stale, and that's my view on it. On top of that, you have a driving narrator over the top of everything, who at the start is very, very charming. You're like, this is great, it's like being in a post-apocalyptic world with Attenborough talking about everything that's going on. But overall, you kind of get to a point where you're like, dude, can you just stop explaining every single thing about this going on? My little gripe with that would be the fact that every time someone talks in the game, they don't talk properly because they're little weird monster mammal things. They go like, and you have to listen to that, but then the narrator translates it afterwards. I would have much preferred and enjoyed the dialogue more if they had quiet enough that he's saying what they're saying over the top. I think that would make it seem less drawn out. This game could be a 30-hour game for you if you were playing it to the T, but I think for most gamers, overall, you're gonna probably power through it quite quickly and find a lot of those moments to really sort of drag on. I really thought with Biomutant it was going to be a much more open world exploration, do your thing, but it really does boil down to quite a linear storyline and very in your face dialogue and delivery in getting that across. There's not so much of the story being told from the world around you. You literally have a narrator just telling you everything for the entirety of the game. And I feel like with an open world, you really do have to let that map the little bits and bobs and the nooks and crannies all around it, all of the abandoned bit, all of the things that are there to tell the story, and that's where it should tell you the story, not literally having somebody tell you the story. And I think the thing with the narration is there's a good story in here overall. It's a nice sort of almost revenge story, but not like, you know, beats you over the head till you're depressed like The Last of Us 2 does. It's a very good or evil. You get to decide who you want to be. You can go down the path of darkness or you can go down the path of light. And it also has a lot of good things for children about how we should be looking at the world. There's a whole lot of sort of like post-apocalyptics. Oh, they let the oil get into the ocean, you know. Oh, the factories ruin this land. Oh, we got to save the tree of life. All of that kind of stuff, which I think is a really, really good way of delivering it for that audience. So overall, my thoughts and feelings about this game, and it's not something that I was disappointed with, it's something that I had to taper my expectations with once I started to play it, is the fact that, look, this is fairly spoon-fed, and if I'm being completely honest, it doesn't feel like a game for my age range. You could basically say that most games are a kid's game, but I just think that this really does do a job where it's almost too hand-holdy at times. Now, like I'm saying, that's not the worst thing in the world. Having gone through such a stressful month of gaming, it was really nice just to completely zone out and go finding little extra crafting bits. It has a really good crafting setup where you find all of the bits of scrap and you can use them to either improve your weaponry or your gear, or like in general just keep discovering stuff that's going to help you level up your power, like your mutation powers, or help you level up general little perks that you get so you do more critical damage or you have more luck when finding loot, and all of these really cool RPG elements. But it does just very much feel like a game that wasn't designed for adults. I think a good example of how to describe this, while Ratchet & Clank is a, and I'm doing air quotes, kids game, overall, there's enough in it that anyone can enjoy it. It's not too spoon-fed to you. The overall humor and stuff can apply to younger people and older people, whereas this very much does feel like it's for a younger audience, which I don't think's a bad thing. That doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the game. If I have to give this game a rating, I'd say it's a 7 out of 10. It's a really fun, easy to play game, and that's not down to the difficulty, it's the way they've designed it. There's not a point in time where the narrator doesn't stop explaining stuff to you, like basically like, oh, you know, maybe try hit this. It's like, bro, I've already taken over 4 or 5 enemy bases, I know what I'm doing, you know? So yeah, that's how I feel about it. As I said, 7 out of 10. Pretty damn good game, really enjoyable. I do like being a little mammal thing. My guy ended up looking like one of the Compare the Meerkat guys, so that was also a lot of fun as well. But I really did enjoy this game overall, and I hope that you enjoy it too. I will be uploading my Let's Play series over the course of the next week or two, you know, so please go ahead and check that out. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know in the comments if you already made your mind up on this game, and if this review was helpful in any shape or form. Take care of yourselves, look out for each other. As always, I've been Bamalan. Peace!